We always skip ahead past the previously on, and there is a previously on for this episode. At least there is for the Netflix version. So skip ahead. You want to start the episode with, I think, is Lorelai and Rory walking past Luke's diner through the window. Is that correct?
Yeah, 21 seconds.
Great. It's about 21, 22 seconds in. And if you're on the DVDs, I don't know if they have a previously on, but skip ahead because we're going to all start our episodes at the same time, and we want to all be on the same time. If anybody has any questions, let me know now. Otherwise, I am going to start my recorder. I have started my recorder. We are now officially recording. And I'm going to go into the Remarkist app where I'm going to start that time code that I just mentioned. The app is running a little slow, so I have a feeling that there are a bunch of people on it right now. Fantastic. All right, the name of this episode is Ted Koppel's Big Night Out. Fun. All right, everyone who's been here before knows what we're doing next. If you're new, get your remote ready, put your thumb on that play button, but don't hit it yet. We're going to all press that play button at the same time on the count of three.
John, quickly,
yes?
Sorry, does the timer, because there's a previously on, does the timer get a little bit messed up or no?
No, you mean the timer inside the app?
Yeah.
No, I start the timer exactly when we press play.
Okay, cool.
It's all done manually.
All right.
So if you have the DVDs count the 23 seconds as part of the first act.
Oh, shoot, that's right.
A little bit messed up, but
oh yeah, you're right.
There's no way.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, I just now understood what you're saying. Okay, yeah, we're 22 seconds ahead. So if somebody looks at the timer, that's actually pretty smart.
Do you have a way to start the timer for 20 seconds and pause it and start it again?
Yeah, I'll do that right now. Yeah, I'll do it right now. Hold on. Let's just
so that way it's not off, because it was off the other night.
Yeah, but
you have like a minute in.
We can pause and talk about this hair in the foreground.
It does.
Yeah, Netflix has the previously on it tonight.
And it does affect Netflix, meaning that it does start at 21 seconds in.
Yes. 22 seconds.
Yeah. All right. And I'm pausing. Okay, great. I'm at 21 seconds. 22 seconds. Okay, great. So that was actually really smart. I did not understand what you meant, Diana. Thank you very much. This was resolved. In the future, I will always know that if there's a previously on, I will do a quick, getting the timer up to speed, and then we're all starting at the same time. Unfortunately, for the well, let me do it for the Instagram too. Sorry everyone, just bear with me. I just want to get them all caught up.
I mean, it's just enough time to go get a refill for anybody who wants a refill on their drinks, like I just did.
I have all of my stuff sitting right here in front of me. I'm refilling while we're actually watching.
Some of us aren't as lucky, John.
All right, so we are, I think, ready to go. Are we? Or is somebody getting a refill?
We're all good here.
We're good. Great.
In the kitchen. I watched the whole show in the kitchen.
Okay, great. So we are going to all have our thumbs on that play button, but do not press it yet. We are going to press it on the count of three. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3.
I actually remember this whole thing happening live. I'm old.
Luke's entitlement at its finest.
You can have your computer, just no cell phone. This sneeze means so much more now with COVID.
I was just thinking that too.
Rory,
especially to the old, because it's to the old. Like, come on.
Totally.
The Jessica Simpson joke also doesn't age well after her memoir.
You think Rory was getting pedicures a year ago?
No.
With
Her mom
Lorelai.
was doing them. Yeah, Lorelai was doing them. Yeah. Cinnamon butter is like the easiest thing to make. This like confuses me why they're so impressed by it.
It's Lorelai and Rory. They don't cook.
I'm impressed by that butter.
Those pancakes sound really good right now.
They really do.
I should have
This
made
is-
pancakes. This doesn't make sense. He's always had tons of help around in the background.
He's in such a good
Not
mood
really
too.
such a
I'm
bad-
sure we all know why.
Maybe just an out front specifically for the front of the diner, not doing stuff in the back.
Yeah, I feel like it's a slap in the face to Robert.
It's weird to see them both wearing hoodies at the same time.
Lorelai's lipstick matches her stripes on her hoodie.
I feel like hoodies are that classic fall look, you know, especially like football games.
I think it's pretty sweet that Lorelai isn't going to date Jason at this point because of respect for her mom.
If only it stayed that way.
I love Jason.
Me too.
I'm just not a Jason fan.
Me too. Most people aren't Jason fans, but it's because they don't see him for who he really is.
A slimy, skeezy dude. I think most people do see who he really is.
You're my hero.
Man, I would have assumed watching this that character might potentially be a new love interest for Rory.
So he was
No
he was
comment.
cast on.
I
Women
just
threw up in my mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed when I watched the little deleted scene from the Windward Circle or whatever it's called, the spinoff from Jeff. He was one of the skateboarders that harassed Jeff.
He was.
Oh, that's why he looked familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that. I saw that online, and I said to people, "Is that Froggy?"
Is that one of the ones that at the very end of the scene says, "To the chase"?
Yep, it is. Oh, another favorite character coming up. I love that Richard eats in the dining hall with them. That's just so fun.
Best grandfather ever.
Previous episodes, he talked about how he couldn't wait to eat with Rory there. So I think it's sweet, yeah.
I like that they invited Paris.
I like
Yeah,
Richard
me
and
too.
Paris together. Like when they did the little business class together, they just seem to go well together.
It just crossed my mind that like he knows Paris from that
A project.
yeah, the project they worked on. So I just thought about how he probably feels pretty good knowing that she went to Yale too,
Oh,
Yeah,
that's good.
because he really liked her.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Did anyone notice Rory's face when Paris called him a honey-tongued devil?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
Is this the dude from Buffy?
No.
Or
No.
some sort of like a Buffy-esque sort of, no?
Like the Watchers Council.
Austin Powers.
Yeah,
Cabaret? I think Austin Powers. I think for sure it's Basil.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, Basil Rathbone, that's right.
I feel like I've seen this guy in something else. That
That's
Cabaret?
Cabaret. Yeah, come on, Michael York.
He also had a brief stint as like the Antichrist in like some Casper Diem film or something.
That aged very well.
Yes.
Do you think he'd really go by himself, or was he calling her bluff?
We don't want to spoil it.
I hate homeowner association rules.
Amen.
Same.
Yeah, who likes those?
We just passed on a house because they had a homeowners association.
I love that sweater she's wearing.
I was just thinking the same thing about his bow tie.
Emily's hair is looking quite frazzled.
It actually kind of looks like she just came out of makeup from like having a plaster back.
It's normally perfect.
I agree with her. I did,
Oh my God.
I did football
I
cheering
love
and
how
I hated
Bert's
it.
staring at his food. He's not even trying to eat.
It's probably Froggy's fault.
Do not like this character.
He didn't even get the bagel.
Butt napkin.
Did you all notice that he was holding the bottom of a hot coffee pot?
Yeah.
Nice catch.
Oh, this Froggy is his name?
That's what they call him.
Brendan.
Somebody dissected the frog.
He's great.
He plays it really well.
Yeah, Greg Safe is really good at those kinds of roles.
How did you feel that?
Love it.
And then Luke doesn't even pour the coffee.
I'm not sure I completely love the idea of Lorelai deciding who should be fired from his establishment, but it's a very funny scene.
I think they need more Fig Newtons.
Emily is the best.
A dangerous choice.
I love that button.
I just noticed.
This really is such a good episode.
I know it's not going to happen, but all day I was just imagining what this episode would be like. And I did imagine a full stadium scene with like thousands of extras.
You guys ready to sing?
I'm just loving and energy.
Man, that's just creepy.
Can we get copyrighted for singing fight songs? Because I don't want to get married copyrighted.
I think we're okay.
I don't think it's a problem, yeah. I was trying to find metal cups on the emojis.
The Rory flag.
Anybody else have a fun flask? I do.
Oh yeah.
I saw your stuff.
It's always cheaper to pregame.
Too damn.
Too damn.
Oh, so sweet.
Bulldog. Bow, wow, wow.
Did you catch that? Apparently everybody has a fun spot.
Bulldog, bulldog,
Bulldog, bulldog.
Wow, wow.
Everybody's got the fun flask tonight.
Wait a second, that was the entire thing that I sang.
I think we're getting better.
You sang more.
I feel like you had another verse in there.
I think they were talking about Cole Porter while they did the verse.
Oh yeah, there's definitely Lorelai dialogue over it. There's a lot of extras here, John.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Lorelai, my mom gonna eat a hot dog.
So for late November in Connecticut, they're not dressed very warmly.
Of course, I can't help think, like, if she had gone to Harvard, this would have been an issue. Maybe. Or maybe she wouldn't have even gone to a football game.
I bet that would have been a fun dynamic though.
Yeah.
It's nice seeing Emily's fun side.
But Froggy's coming.
Are you Team Froggy? Team Froggy.
Team Froggy.
Team Froggy. Ribbit.
Move over, Jess. Froggy's moving in.
You know that's right.
Is that really the last time that Emily has had any interaction with the Paris character?
No, because they did
No.
the project at her house. She just forgot.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, because that's a real far off reference. I mean, even for us watching it as compressed as we are, but I imagine watching it for the first time week to week, that would have been like, wait, when?
I think that's what grandparents do, though. They meet a friend and they're like, oh, remember so and so from that thing that was 20 years ago?
It's so true.
That is true, yeah.
But they don't know your current friend.
I just remembered where I recognized Asher from. He was on How I Met Your Mother as like a snooty guy.
Yes. Isn't there some Buffy character that's also sort of like a Britishy type person?
This is some important stuff happening.
What a term, almost mommy.
The buttons.
Anyone notice how Richard just kind of like completely avoided the whole thing?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Smart man.
Is that like an old girlfriend of his?
It was his fiance.
Oh, that was his
Before Emily, remember? She
remember
broke
that?
off.
Yeah, that was that when they were walking through the park that one time they mentioned her.
Yep. And Liel, when they came to Yale.
Ooh, drama. Because of Froggy.
Yep. Brennan, Satan, whatever.
It must be bad if Kirk thinks he's too weird.
And for once, Luke is just so patient. So unluke.
Maybe he thinks he can help Froggy where he couldn't help Jeff.
That or it's his outside of work activity.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
Final nail. You guys should have invited him into the band.
Wait, Mary, is that your new favorite? Is that your other favorite character?
No, you already knew my favorite character.
Wait, no, Danny. Wait, Doyle is your favorite character, but then you said there's another favorite character's coming in.
Yeah, but not yet.
Oh, okay.
But I was gonna say you guys should have invited that guy into the band. He looks like he could rock.
Yeah, he was saying Nookie violent bits.
Oh, he seems like he would be a nightmare in the band. He would be a nightmare in the band. I mean, Zach and Brian would be done with him after a day.
At stake. Huh.
He looks different here, and not just because he has clothes on.
Yeah, it looks good.
His
His
hair.
curly hair.
Anybody else imagine Richard being naked for an entire month?
I mean, it wasn't until you said it, but
He said it.
Just a silk tie.
Jen, your mic's on.
Thanks, sorry.
never went to a 4-year school, but I do like tailgating, and they've really got it going on with that RV.
And the maid coming out to give their food. In her uniform.
I'm surprised that they've used the ladies' room and not used the one in the RV.
That's a good place to put a coffee cart.
You're being serious?
Absolutely. Do you know how long the lines are beside a woman's bathroom? Like, once you go in and get out,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have coffee.
I think it's just the thing about a food services business right next to a bathroom that
It's
weird
around
man.
the corner. It's kind of hidden.
Uh-oh.
I don't know why Emily is so jealous. She got Richard.
I was wondering the same thing.
Because of what just happened.
I love this part.
Are you gonna sing again, John?
I do not know this song,
Ba, ba,
I love
ba.
me some harmony like that.
but I just love this moment. Like, love this.
I wonder if they're really the Whoopin' Hoops.
Actually,
From that year.
I think they are. I'm pretty sure they are.
The real weapon, like they got them to be in
Yeah,
the
they-
episode.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
got
I think so.
they cast them to do it.
Amazing.
John, do you like barbershop and acapella?
Say again?
Do you like barbershop and acapella?
I mean, it's not like I'm specifically a fan of it, but I just that moment is just really.
Important part.
Those poor boys.
Oh, we are going to talk about this afterwards, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
It gets worse.
Oh yeah.
Whoa!
Yep.
I think that kind of makes him worse than Jason being Richard being swarmy, or whatever you guys call it.
How does he know she didn't tell Steven? Why would it matter?
It sounds like they have an agreement.
Yeah, I don't see it as a huge deal either.
I would be pissed.
This is really interesting. Very interesting. I can't wait to get into a discussion about this.
The gaslighting is real with Emily.
Seems right on track though. Whenever they're having a good moment, she always ends up yelling at Lorelai about something.
Right, that's so true.
I don't understand that.
Makes total sense.
Yeah, she was upset because
I don't understand it, but maybe you will explain it to me afterwards.
yeah.
That's where the Ted Koppel
And
reference comes from.
That's the title, right?
I was wondering where it came from.
If I'm being honest, I never really paid attention to the title or episode names until we started doing this.
It's fun, actually, to figure out where they come from.
It is.
Yeah, a little weird, actually.
Agreed.
And you should know Lorelai, so such a social person.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, that feels very weird.
I get it, because I don't like being in loud places either.
I know, I'm so conflicted on this.
When there's a bunch of sounds all at once, I get them all jumbled, and then I can't hear anything. So I'd like a quiet room.
But for Jason, I feel like it's also the exclusivity. Like everybody wants it, he got it.
Exactly. That's definitely what it is. I think it's more so than like the idea that he wants to get Lorelai alone. I think it's more like, this is awesome, and I can do that.
So much to discuss later.
She was excited about coming anyways, but
Corn.
the reservation, right? When she said no, he was still going to come anyway.
You said quarantine.
Quarantine.
And look who's just as picky.
I don't buy this. This sounds like he's playing the same game with Lorelai that he played the other night with Emily.
It seems very manipulative.
Which is why I can't stand Digger.
I don't see it that way at all. I see it as he has kind of a high personality. I think that he's trying the best he can to make her happy.
I agree, Spring.
Let's discuss after. There's lots to say here.
I hate getting off exits and on exits or entrance ways to the highway. It freaks me out.
Why is her window down? Isn't it like cold in Connecticut right now?
Order something. You're going through a drive-through. Order something.
Jeez, just get a taco, man. Just get a taco, man.
Exactly.
Seriously, just get one taco. All you got to do is get one taco here, and your date is successful.
Or fries.
Jason is too waspy
Or
to know.
fries.
I don't trust people who don't like tacos.
Amen.
He has IBS. You can still get fries.
What?
For all of the Digger fans, we're just playing around. We're just goofing.
That was so random. It just caught me off guard.
Sorry. Toothpaste.
Lorelai started to go to the salad bar.
Yeah, she said, shall we start with salad?
That's just surprising.
I find that hilarious. You didn't grab the razors again. I love this whole thing here in this.
Me too.
It's so sweet.
It's definitely one of my favorites.
The fact that the character is very, very, very vulnerable in this scene gets a lot of points for me on him. For the first time, I kind of like this here.
This is a favorite Digger scene, I will say.
I went shopping hungry earlier. It was a terrible idea.
Oh, always a bad idea. I could not find snowballs.
They used to have them here in Canada, but I haven't seen them in years now.
Yeah, they're not made in Canada anymore.
I don't think I know what snowballs are.
If you Canadians need snowballs, we will hook you up.
That's okay. I think we'll live longer for not having them.
Yeah, I'm not a coconut fan.
I could watch.
Oh, did you catch the joke?
That's a crime.
I could watch like an hour of them describing and giving their reviews on products at the grocery store.
Me too.
Yeah,
I love this part.
I love how she actually does it.
This episode is awesome.
It's so all over the place.
Even without the stadium.
Even without the stadium. I mean, just there's this, the breadth of locations is just.
Captain Crunch is the superior. Wow, words. Sorry. I'll stop.
Superior cereal? Was that what you were trying to say?
Yes, thank you.
It really triggers me seeing the cereal stack like that.
Me too. I think it's so bad that they made a mess after they allowed him back there.
Yeah.
That's terrible. But
And
they
now-
are
Screwing
now
over
Jamal-
working class people.
And Jamal's gonna get busted.
Oh, I thought I was going to get an answer to my question, but I guess I didn't.
What was the question?
I don't understand why she wanted to go out with him.
because it would piss off Emily.
Yeah, that's what she said, but I don't still quite get it.
It'll make more sense. You're about to get a real shock here, John.
Dirty.
Oh, and bam.
Oh,
Yeah. Cringe.
Oh my gosh. Of
Cringe.
course they're doing that. Of course they're doing that.
Now that's some extra credit.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
At the top of the class.
Silver to
Oh my gosh.
Favorite, one of my favorites.
Wait, okay, I'm gonna open up the couch and dude, Sheev, come up onto the couch, man. You're texting me all this stuff. You gotta come up here.
Yeah,
Sheev just texted me. Wait, Sheev just texted me. Wait, hold on. Sheev just texted LOL what? LOLWUT. Come on. Come up here, man.
WUT.
Like,
Yeah.
LOL
What? I got it. Okay.
Understood.
All right, yes, he's here. He's coming. He's coming.
Yeah.
John, you kept on asking about
My gosh, I cannot believe I was up here
in Buffy.
with all of that.
There was a lot of
For
begging.
the love of God.
John, you kept on asking about the actor who's Asher. It's not the same guy who was Giles on Buffy. That was Anthony Head.
Oh,
Yes.
but kind of a similar vibe, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Can
I wasn't
say
crazy.
Logan's Run. Did you guys say Logan's Run? That's what I knew him from.
First of all, I'm a little buzzed, so let's just start with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Great start.
I was drunk last night, so I'm not drinking tonight.
Sean, it made for an amazing commentary from you because your reactions were amazing. We can tell.
Honestly.
All right, good.
I want to say something. So badly.
What's up, Tasha?
Okay, considering that I probably won't be able to speak much, and I won't be here tomorrow. We probably will get to this, but I'm going to say this anyway. The supermarket moment between Jason and Lorelai, I said this to Charlie, probably the best moment of them two ever. Because like their banter is so good, and it seems like even though it's like the weirdest date you could ever have, it's probably the best date because they have the banter, and it's just like, and I said that like they have the banter that Jess and Rory had, but Luke and Lorelai have better banter. But that's what I meant earlier in the series where I said I would like to find a guy that has really good banter. Lorelai and Jason was exactly that point.
Well,
I disagree
the only thing that bums me out about that comment is that was the scene where I was kind of like, you know what, maybe I could like this character and Lorelai, but if you're saying that's the best that we get with that, then
Well, that's in my opinion.
It's not the best.
In my opinion.
No, in my opinion,
There's
it is
more
the
to
best.
come. There's
Well,
more
yes,
to come.
but let me have my opinion.
Yeah, don't let your buzz change your opinion, John. Come on.
wait,
Yeah,
who says there's more to
Peter
come?
Sun.
Sabrina, was that you that says that there's more to come?
Yeah, it's even better.
Well, me saying my opinion wasn't trying to like coerce John into liking my opinion. It's just my opinion.
No, I got
So
it.
trust me.
I loved it too. I was there with you. I loved
Yeah,
it too,
my
and I
love
thought
for Jason's fleeting. So
in that one moment, I would say that whole scene. And again, this is just the brilliance of the show, really. of just subverting like how you feel about a character.
They hook you.
That whole scene was just so great because he was just so out of his element,
So
such
charming.
a fish out of water, and that, of course, is when I start to like him, you know, because he's a little confused and a little vulnerable, and then all of that. So all of that sort of smarmy stuff starts to dissolve a bit, and so I loved that scene. I just absolutely loved it, every bit of it. Like from the moment they got to that supermarket all the way through the end of it, I just loved it.
I've had days like that.
Amanda was flashing space.
Amanda?
Well, I think one thing that people don't give Jason enough credit for in this scene is they're both being their authentic selves. Like they're both busy people. Like, yeah, they want to pick up razors or whatever. And I kind of love that about them is that they're practical and they're a little neurotic. And I like that Jason, he doesn't like tacos. I do agree that's weird, but like the fact that he doesn't like it, he stood up for himself and just said, no, like that's not my choice. And I think that shows his character is authentic and true. So I think that has character, but like a big bump for me.
I will say though that I think I'm with Amanda that I have a hard time with folks who don't like tacos. But I will also go one step further to say that Taco Barn's got to have more than just tacos. Like he could have gotten something there, you know. Like
They have
you know,
burritos.
you go to Del Taco, you can get some fries, you know.
He could have gotten some potato Lays.
Who just puked at the mention of Del Taco?
Me.
Oh my God.
Okay.
What are you talking about? Del Taco is
I don't think I've
awesome.
ever been to a
All right,
Del
so
Taco.
hold on,
Taco's
hold on, hold on.
amazing.
Let me defend myself. And Sabrina, right next to you, John, could probably agree with me. She might not. It's totally fine. But seeing as we're New Yorkers, there are a few things that us New Yorkers pride ourselves on: pizza and tacos, at least in my hometown of Buffalo, New York. There's a place called Mighty Taco that I don't care where you're from will always be superior to any other taco place on planet Earth. And Sabrina, you're probably
Anytime I've had tacos from up north, they've been gross. I like them down here in the south.
Sabrina next to John. What do you think?
Chicago.
Mighty Taco is so good. There's a Mighty
Yeah,
Taco. Sorry, go ahead.
Sabrina,
Wait,
go
Mighty
ahead.
Taco in Brooklyn?
Sabrina, tell us about Mighty Taco.
Oh, I was just gonna say Mighty Taco is down the place from my parents' house, and I definitely would like go there drunk in the middle of the night.
They're so good.
I mean, I only mentioned Del Taco because Taco Barn seemed like it was just they came up with a name for a taco place that was like a franchise fast food taco place, but like a Del Taco or a Taco Bell. But I'm sorry, but Los Angeles has like you can't. I mean,
Thank you, John. This
I mean,
is Gabby. I
Yes.
jumped
guys
on
are
just
so
because
close
I'm
to
from LA and the
Mexico.
tacos. Sorry.
yeah. I mean, I'm
New
like,
York.
I'm sorry, New York. I'm sorry,
But I'm
New Yorkers.
expecting California to be
Chicago.
better.
No.
You can't hear anything.
Whoa,
Wait,
whoa, whoa.
wait, hold on. So, Gabby,
Yes,
why don't you chime in? I think I'm with you on here. I mean,
I'm also from LA, John, and just I don't come on the couch, but I had to defend tacos in LA. I just had to.
yeah.
Number
I mean,
one.
the talk. I mean, I'm not talking about Del Taco. Like, there's just like all kinds of little taco spots all over Los Angeles and burrito spots all over Los Angeles that are I've never had anything like it.
Well, then us New Yorkers can
Sabrina
defend pizza
with
till
the
the end of
puppy.
the time.
Totally.
Sabrina with the
I'll give
puppy
you guys
and
your pizza.
Sherry.
I'll give you guys your pizza.
Oh wait, young.
Thank
Sabrina's watching.
I'll give you guys your pizza, but
I want to see
give us our
Thank you.
tacos.
You know, with
Fair
the puppy
trade.
and Sherry
Okay.
are both flashing.
Sabrina next to Charlie splashing, yeah.
Okay, so I was just gonna carry on from Tasha's comment about how she likes the banter between Luke and Lorelai better than the banter between Jason and Lorelai. But Luke is like a pushover when it comes to Lorelai, and I don't like that. Kind of like what Amanda was saying, that
Very
Jason
true.
actually stands up for himself. He didn't want tacos. Lorelai still could have got her tacos. He was encouraging her. It doesn't mean he needs to get a taco. Up here, oh, sorry, my dog barked. up here, taco places don't have fries or anything. They have tater tots or what are called Mexican fries.
We love potato Olay. We love potato Olay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It ends the night. That was my only thing about that. It's like, why end the night? You want to go out on a date with her? You've been trying this hard. Like, all you gotta do is just order anything off of that entire board of things, just anything, and you got the night going. I mean, I'm glad that he didn't, because they had an amazing date instead at the supermarket, which was awesome. But you know,
We
I
have
get that,
Mandy
though.
and we have
I get
Zachary.
Zachary,
Oh wait, wasn't Sherry flashing?
Yeah.
Sherry, then Zachary.
Oh, I didn't see
Or
that.
no, I'm sorry. Please go. Sherry and then
No,
Zachary.
I was just gonna say, I'm in the heart of New York, and the tacos here, there are some places you can get them that are okay, but I'm expecting close to Mexico is gonna be kick the ass out of anything that we got over here.
This
Oh,
house
yeah,
has just talking
yeah,
about Buffalo.
we-
and I will tacos. We got some pretty good Mexican tacos.
I would just like to say, I have something to throw into the taco conversation. This is a lovely conversation, and it's making me very hungry for Taco John's potato Olay. And that is all I can say about this conversation, folks. I am Carl, and I approve of this message.
So you know, this particular night, we've all, I think, been drinking, or at least a lot of us have been drinking.
Oh, I know.
Well, if we would have had
know.
this last night,
I cannot
I've
say
not
that.
been drinking. If we would have had this last night, I would have been like far gone. I had like 2 Jack and Cokes, 1 gin and tonic.
Well,
Jaeger
I only
bomb,
say-
and
I
a
only
Tic
say
Tac.
it- I don't-
Not drinking.
You were fall ground after that.
I only say it for those folks who are not drinking to just forgive the extra sort of chatter over one another. It's a night, I think, is a unique night.
It's
It is
making
hard to hear though.
I'm
when
on new
everybody
meds,
starts talking at
so
once.
I act as if it's kind of hitting me as if I'm a little tipsy.
I love it.
I just want to switch the topic really quickly to Richard being skeezy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is an
Yeah.
hour.
Oh my goodness.
Oh boy. And it was hot.
So
I
This
am gonna
was-
defend Richard for the other time.
relationships like that is not for almost 40 years and not mentioning once that they went out for lunch like that's some skeezy stuff right there.
Yeah, I don't think that that's really forgivable. I mean,
Yeah, so-
Not okay at all.
So this
somebody
is just,
said, I think, John, it was you who said, that she didn't tell her husband, Steve. Well, what's the importance of that is that the two of them are sneaking behind their spouses' backs for 39 years. Every year they're having lunch together.
Yeah, like,
If I did that with my ex, my husband, who's not a jealous guy, would probably he would probably never speak to me again.
Like they're thinking about each other when they
Zachary is
thinking about their
flashing.
others.
What's he thinking?
all right,
Yeah,
so
please,
wait,
give
so
us
wait,
your
wait,
opinion.
wait, hold on. Let me just instill a couple of guidelines for tonight just because of the amount of alcohol consumption. So let's try to switch more on the side of the mic flashing, and I'm going to moderate. Let's go to Kevin first. Or sorry, Kevin, Zachary first.
Hey, good evening, guys. So, okay, really quick. Yeah, the southern region definitely for tacos. I will give New York their bagels. 2, people with New York accents. I could hear you talk all day. I've only been to upstate New York, and I totally dig that. So, really
Thank
enjoying
you.
that. And then also, yeah, I thought like the banter was cute, but like given the fact that like dinner didn't go off and why like Lorelai chose to go out with them like in the first place, I don't know. Those are just kind of like red flags to me. But hoping like not having power foresight, hoping that things get better because the date did end okay. And then yeah, the whole Richard date kind of or there I called it a date. I really wouldn't like call it a date, but them having like lunch once a year. I mean, once a year is not like a big deal. Should he have been open and honest about it? Yes, but no matter which way it would have gone, I could just see Emily blowing up. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about that.
So Sherry, just to answer your question, I think that you heard Zachary, not me, because I'm on your side with that. Like I completely 100% believe that was not cool at all what he did.
Thumbs up.
Mandy.
Okay, so I'm gonna lump in a few things. Going back to the Jason thing, I liked the moment at the grocery store, but that does not make me like his character. I still think that it was weird that he tried so hard to get a date with Lorelai without ever even bothering to consider what she might want for that date. And then when she's like kind of not liking being in the room, you know, away from everybody, the whole, oh, well, I guess we can just go. Like, it just seemed very, like, manipulative. I don't know. I didn't like how he said it. It was very like, oh, well, I guess if you're not happy and I refuse to eat at the bar. Like, it was weird. Like, you wanted to date this woman so much and you are not at all trying to do anything that she might want to do. Like, I just think it's weird. And the not ordering a taco, it's like, just order something off the menu. Like, if she's hungry and she doesn't want to eat by herself, just get something, anything, or suggest going to a place up the road. Like, I just didn't get it. But
it was definitely like, definitely he was pulling the poor me thing at the other restaurant. That definitely 100% super manipulative, super, you know, and I agree. Like, you know, when she at the, I thought the weirdest thing that he said was at the drive-through when she was like, you know, like, it'll be fun, and he's like, why, you know, like, why does it all need to be fun? She's like, because I'm on a freaking date. What are you talking about? Like, because it's sort of the same thing. Like, why? Who would ever want to go out on a date and not have fun? You know, and she's trying to create some fun out there. So I'm with you there. It really, truly, for me, only began at the grocery store. Before that, I couldn't stand them as much as I couldn't stand them up until now. And then at the grocery store, when he was like looking around for things in the aisles and stuff, I was like, oh, this is interesting.
I also find it weird how he won't eat tacos, but he'll eat Captain Crunch and like things from a grocery store. I don't know, it's just odd. But moving on to Richard, I feel like I don't think that if I had done the same thing, I don't think my husband would get mad as long as he knew about it. The same thing with him. Like, if he wanted to have lunch with an old girlfriend, if I knew about it, it wouldn't bother me. But if he, like, the hiding is the part that bothers me. But what also gets me about that situation is that Emily, first, I don't like how she takes her anger out on her maid, because that's not right, and then turns it on Lorelai. But it bothers me that she didn't care that it happened. She just doesn't like that she found out. Like, I don't like that. That's weird.
Tiffany. Sorry, Tiffany.
This is kind of part of the reason why I like Jason, and why I said before that I don't know if I like the character so much as I like the different scenes they have, and just it takes like this breath of fresh air. Like, it's something so different that we haven't seen before. And I think, you know, at the beginning he was kind of annoying with the whole food situation, but I like how he like loosens up a little bit, and she kind of takes him over to her side to like, this is how we have fun. And I like that part. And then with Richard and going on the date, it just came out actually that Bill Gates did the same thing. Like, once a year he went out with his ex. And then I have a cousin who, with her ex, she goes once a year with him to have dinner. So it actually happens quite often, I think, probably more than we realize.
Oh my God. No, they were two different things.
Yeah. So that's all I have to say.
What were two different things?
Bill Gates spent like a weekend, or at least a week, with his ex, with permission from his wife. They, you know, Richard and the almost mommy, you know, had lunch.
Almost mommy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think
that
that
just happened.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine going out I can't imagine going out to lunch with an ex-girlfriend and not letting Babsy know. Like, I just can't imagine it. Like, so in my mind, I have, like, all I'm thinking is that he must still have something, that he may still hold something for
Yeah,
for
'cause he-
Pendleton, is that her name?
Penelon.
Penelon.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Pendleton.
that's the only thing that I can think, because
Yeah, because he has something to hide, like.
yeah, exactly. Why
Well-
would you be hiding it for 39 years? Like, and if at a certain point you were kind of like, oh my gosh, like I started off hiding this from my wife and now I feel like I can't tell her, then the other option there would be to tell Penelon, we can't meet anymore. Like it just, my guilt has gotten too high, and I haven't told my wife until now. And now at this point, it's really difficult for me to tell my wife. So I think the best way for us to do this is just end it. We don't meet every year. But the fact that he's still meeting her every year and not telling Emily, it just feels like he still has feelings for Penelon.
Diana just
Well,
saw Nia flashing.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jessica, Diana, April, and then a bunch of people started flashing after that.
Diana,
For a bit. Oh, no.
Jessica first.
Jessica.
I just wanted to throw out there that when this episode came out, it was 2004. So they've been doing this for 39 years. That means the late 60s, 70s, 80s, back when you couldn't like go and see what your exes were doing on Facebook or call them on a cell phone. They had to seek each other out. And he said he'd been doing it since they broke up, which means in the late 60s, they were searching for each other to know each other's numbers and stuff. So there's something still there, because you're not just like, oh, well, my ex messaged me on Facebook, I'm going to go have lunch. They had to actually like keep track with each other's phone numbers, find each other, set the dates. Like, it was a lot more back then than it would have been now, just to go and have lunch with your boyfriend or ex-boyfriend every now and then. It was something that they were seeking out every year.
Maybe the
I'm sending you some kernels for that. That's amazing.
maybe like the alumni that, you know, where he was very, you know, into the whole Yale thing. Maybe that's how they kept track too, through the alumni.
And you know, Penelon Lot's husband, like, would he be okay with it? I'm probably not.
Go in order.
I was gonna say, speaking of kernels, you can harvest them now, by the way.
Yes, need to go in order.
I've had too much tequila to know the order, so I need help.
So it's Jessica,
Diana was flashing after me, and then Tasha.
Diana.
I have two quick things. One, with Digger and Lorelai, I think it's really interesting that like their date kind of goes awry because like they're so different. But I think what I really love about the grocery store is that they really do compromise. Like, they're doing the thing that kind of just happens because she's Lorelai, and of course she would end up in a grocery store on her date. But I still love that he uses his power to like get into the stockroom, which is kind of exactly like using his influence to get the private room at the restaurant. So I really like that he kind of sticks to who he is. Like someone said that before, that, you know, he stays true to himself. So that I really like. And then with Richard and Emily, you know, we've been having this conversation over many episodes about whether or not Emily is as terrible as Lorelai and like the writers kind of want us to think. So I'm kind of curious, like, is there a world in which, you know, Richard didn't feel like he could tell Emily because she's terrible? And like her reaction would be, I mean, my personal opinion is he is absolutely 100% wrong. But I'm wondering, like, what is Emily putting out there to all the people around her that they don't want to engage with her in any sort of honest way? Is it her fault or is it their fault?
Diana,
Well
by the way, just so you all know.
That's actually a really good point about Emily.
Okay, so
Actually, April was next. She was after Jessica and Diana.
that is
Who was?
April.
April. April, let's hear it.
what?
So, as far as the whole Emily and Richard thing, the way I see it is,
you know, you figure he's kept this to himself all this time, and there's, you know, probably multiple, I mean, well, I mean, you'll find out later some things, so that's a spoiler, but there's also the fact that she was this was somebody he was going to marry. He was engaged to this woman, if you remember way back when he was talking, and they were talking about how he broke up with Penelon to ask Emily to get married. He broke off a wedding and everything to marry Emily. He broke off a wedding with Penelon. So
I don't
Penelon
think it was that far. No, he said he had given her a pin. They hadn't.
No, the invitations had gone out. If you listen to the dialogue, the invitations had gone out and everything. So he was pretty serious with this woman. And then he didn't seal the deal. He didn't get married to her. And so what happened was, you know, if he had that close of a relationship with this person and then he got cut off completely, he may have felt like he needed to stay in touch with her, you know, because it was a sudden thing, and then he ended up with Emily. And what he's doing is not okay, because obviously it's behind his wife's back. That's not okay. The 39 years of doing this behind your wife, even if it's, I don't care if it's once a year, once a week, it doesn't matter, you know, it's still not, it's not cool, you know. And you figure the husband on the other end is probably wouldn't think that's really cool either, you know. But he probably can't tell Emily. You see how she reacts to the maid doing things, and he's probably afraid to tell her. Look, I'm thinking of having lunch with Pennell and Lot. She can't even stand to have her name mentioned. So you know that she, you know, she probably wouldn't be real gung-ho to say, oh, sure, have lunch with your friend, you know, and even if it is just a friendship. So, you know, his problem is he wouldn't know how to end it first, and then he wouldn't know how to tell her either. So he's kind of in between a rock and a hard place with that. You know, it really is a tough situation for him to be in.
Is it really though?
Well, he started something he doesn't know how to get out of.
I have a question.
It's what I think happened.
I have a question for the group. Because, Tasha, and then I will let you speak. Let me just ask this question here.
Oh God.
What, Carl? Are you worried about the question?
Yes.
No. I'm not worried about the question. My bad. I spoke with my mouth. Well, I just said on God.
Oh. Okay. So all right. First of all, I mentioned that I can't imagine that I would keep a meeting like that from my wife at this stage of our life together. Maybe like when we were first dating or something like that. Here's like the other thing that I can't believe. Like, I can't imagine anybody in my life that I would be meeting every single year for almost 40 years. Like, I'm like, that's like somebody who's like not a close enough friend that everybody knows them, right? Like, you know, that somebody who I only meet them once a year. I just can't really imagine that. So I guess like my question to the group is, can you imagine meeting a friend of yours and not mentioning that to your significant other for even 10 years?
No.
Definitely not. I love to talk
Definitely
about
not.
Wouldn't happen once.
So John,
Is there anybody who can imagine it?
me?
Once
I
again,
can imagine it, but I wouldn't do it.
I would do it.
once
Who
I
would
make
do
my
it?
comment, I will tell you.
Marla.
Who would do it? Who? Marla?
Marla.
I'll give
Okay,
you my
I'm gonna
opinion.
let Tasha speak because I know she wants to say something. And then I want to come back to you, Marla, because I want to pick your brain as to just tell me why. But I want to let Tasha speak because she's been waiting. Tasha?
Okay, well,
Flash for a while.
well, I still have well, April basically took everything I was going to say, which thanks. But you're fine. So I'll just repeat. So sorry.
Well, I mean, if it's just
we
a
don't need to
repeat,
repeat
then-
it.
if it's just a repeat, we don't need.
But
I
John,
mean,
you
it
had-
shouldn't be. I mean, what we're trying to get out of this is you know, is insight. So if somebody gave some insight, it's great.
I'm going to talk anyway. I mentioned when I first got on the couch, because I couldn't hold it in, about the whole Lorelai and Jason thing, so I won't bring that up again. But with the whole thing with Richard, I'll give another spin on what April said. Like, the way Emily is, she's been this way since like the first episode, season 1. She's always been this like uptight person that always needs to have everything be her way. It's literally her way or the highway. And no one can do really anything without Emily knowing. Emily can't have anything not ran by her. And she's always like super anal and uptight with her maids and things like that. And so I don't blame Richard at all for not telling her, because even back in the tour of Yale episode, she said Penelon and Lot needed a map or directions to get to a pin or something like that. And so she's always hated Penelon and Lot. And so even if Richard would tell her, oh yeah, I'm having lunch with her, even if it was like 1 year after, she still would have had a cow. And so like for me, and this is coming from a person who can get very jealous of SOs, honestly, like it's not that big of a deal to like have lunch with someone who was in your life for a significant amount of time and you nearly got married. It's really not that big of a deal. And so Emily losing her mind, one, is really nothing new. We all knew she was going to do that, but the way she did it, and then she got mad at Lorelai. I was talking to Charlie about this. It was like, how is this Lorelai's fault? Like, she didn't know that they had lunch once a year. Yeah, she knew that she was like the almost mommy, but like, how would have she known that like that would have happened? Like, Emily yelling at her is just not.
Yo, Tasha.
Yeah.
What? I'm not even trying to be rude. But what? I, as a guy, if I was married to a girl and I was downright in love with her, but I knew for sure that she used to be with a man that she almost got with and married, like I almost didn't get the chance to be with her, and then I just suddenly got her last minute, and then I find out that she was meeting up with this man that she almost was with for the rest of her life for almost 40 years. I would be pissed off. Okay. I would be pissed off. Here, no, wait. And then she told Lorelai, look, I'm upset. And Lorelai kept pushing it and was like, well, it's just lunch with her, Mom. Like, it's not that big of a deal. No. Lorelai Gilmore, sit the hell down. Emily is mad right now. That's the only thing I have to say. I have worked with, like, I've seen it, 10 years customer service experience, working in foster care system. When someone is mad, you just give them their space and sit over in that corner and shut the hell up. That Lorelai did not sit over there and shut up. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I wouldn't, like, I understand Emily, because if I found out that happened to me, I would want to punch someone. And Lorelai was just in the way. Lorelai did not deserve it. She was just in the way.
All right, John, you had Mary, Lily, Steph, Mandy, then Tiffany. They were all flashing.
Mary, will you give me just a second to go back to Marla? I just want to ask Marla about,
absolutely,
like, I would just like to pick your brain, Marla. You were one of the only that said, or the only that said that you could imagine it. You could imagine, like, for 40. I want to be clear though, for 40 years.
40 years. But I mean, depending on the relationship that you're with, and especially someone like Emily, like let's start with
I've been married 3 times and I've been divorced 3 times. So I'm probably not like the best one to like, let's
All
start
right,
there.
fair enough.
But at the same time, like depending on who you're married to or who your significant other is, there's people that they're always going to not like from your past, even if there's absolutely nothing happening. And sometimes hanging out or being around people from your past keeps you who you were, but still lets you be who you are now. Like there's like a happy little medium. And so to get rid of everyone from your past kind of changes who you are now. And so I think it's kind of like a best of both worlds, but just for like a minute, and then you go back to real life. But sometimes.
But if you're with somebody now who you know would not be comfortable with that, then maybe you shouldn't be with that person now, right?
Very valid point. But
you know, like I sort of that's sort of the flip side of the argument, because it doesn't give Emily the opportunity to decide whether or not she's cool with that. Because if she's not cool with it, she has the decision of whether or not she even wants to be with this man for the next 40 years. She didn't get that decision. She didn't get to make that choice. 40 years comes, and then she finds out that for 40 years he's been doing that. And that's sort of the only part about it, because I agree with you. I actually think that it's very good to have, you know, to hold on to your past, or to hold on to certain parts of your past. And there are some people that are from a different time of your life that you don't want to just forget. You want to keep them there. I mean, you know, Babsy and I both talk about our exes freely, and there isn't anything, you know, uncomfortable about that. You know, it's more the fact that it was 40 years. That's the part about it that really is like, wait, what? I can't even imagine 40 years of meetings with like my acting manager, you know, or my writing manager. You know, I can't even imagine that going on for 40 years. I mean, if I go back 40 years, I was in high school, you know? And so just the fact that it's 40 years that it's been kept from her, I think is unfair to her.
that part, yeah, horrible. But when you think of it, it's only like once a year for 40 years. So like to Richard, it's not like that big of a thing at this point. And I mean, to Emily, obviously it's a big, huge thing because it's 40 years and it's a lie. It's not, yeah. But
Mary, did you have something that you wanted to?
Yes, I want to talk about the start of this entire situation. Let's go back to a 20-something guy who almost married a woman, and then whose heart was stolen by another, right? And so he starts, like, he's gonna marry Emily. He knows he wants to marry Emily, and he reflects on the feelings that he had for Penn-in-law, and he recognizes that actually he wasn't really in love with Penn-in-law, but she was a friend. She was someone he could find it in. She was someone he connected with, but maybe not loved in the same way that he's in love with Emily. So he decides that he wants to have a meeting with her to explain that, and to explain how the transition went from I've almost married you. Sorry, I'm a little buzzed too. I've almost married you to now I'm not marrying you, but it's not because you're not the one. It's because we didn't have that type of friendship or that type of relationship. We had a friendship. So they have that conversation, and she goes, you know what? You're absolutely right. You're a friend. I'd like to keep you in my life. And he goes, oh my God, Emily would never allow that. And they're like, okay, well, let's just, keep each other in our lives just to see what's going on. So a year from then, they meet up one more time to be like, hey, I'm married and I'm loving it. And she's like, oh, I met an amazing man and I'm loving it. Let's find out what's going to happen a year from now. And I think that's sort of how it started. I don't think that they set it out as they wanted to lie and go behind each other, their significant others back. But this was a way for them to get in touch with one another, to connect with one another. And it's not necessarily about we want to keep it a secret, but it's one of those things that we know it's going to hurt the people we're with, but we know it's innocent. So let's just do what we need to do, but let's not go overboard.
Yeah, I agree with you. Here's where I say it goes overboard. 40 years. That's it. because I actually think that that's exactly how it started. I can imagine that, and I actually think that that's probably what their relationship was. It's really the part about it happening for 40 years that feels like a little weird.
But
You know,
John,
feels
after a few years, like I look back now and I go, I can't believe it's been 10 years of me doing this one thing. Like the 40 years seems huge because we are looking at it at one shot. But when you're in the middle of an experience, it doesn't seem like it's been that long a time when it's just once a year.
If you know it's gonna hurt your significant other, though, you try not to do stuff that will hurt them.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think I'm in that agreement too. I think that there are some sacrifices that you make, even though you know, like, look, my wife's weird. I wish that she wasn't like this. I wish she was somebody who could just be cool with me meeting with my ex-fiance, who I did, but she's not. And that's who I'm with. And that's who I'm going to be with for the rest of my life. And I love her. So that's what I choose to do. And you say it sucks, but Penelon, we can't, unfortunately.
And that's what Emily's most upset about. And by the way, Lily was next, and then you had Steph and Mandy and Tiffany and T.
This episode, this is a big one, right? I mean, we have lots to say. It might also be the tequila, but you said it was who next? Lily.
Yeah. Also, Regina, I just noticed that your picture is slightly different, and now there's two faces. I was just looking at that.
I changed it for the Festival of Living Art because it was Gil's night.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
of course, I had to celebrate for the occasion. It was Gil.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
I'm gonna...
otherwise, I was writing like a couple, like just a few notes, nothing like as well thought out as I think Regina has written and read, but just like a couple points. One, first and foremost, I don't care, Richard, if you think your wife is uptight. You married her, so you need to respect her boundaries. If she does not want you hanging around with your ex-fiance, ex-girlfriend, ex-whatever she was, then don't. Because if you need to respect her. I mean, I certainly don't think Richard would appreciate if Emily went around with her ex, whoever that may be. And, as much as I don't really like Emily, I'm like channeling Carl. She's upset for a good reason. It is 40 years and this man has been talking to this woman. Never once mentioned it to his wife. And even if it was we're figured out we're actually friends and it was spontaneous and they just did it that one time, go home and tell your wife and be like, hey, so this happened today. Before you talk, can I explain that we're just friends and I have absolutely no feelings for her and this is actually just something cool. And, if you want me to report everything, I don't mind doing that if it makes you more comfortable. And if it makes you more comfortable that I don't go at all, then I won't. So, I mean, also, he married her, so give her the courtesy of a conversation. You can't give her a courtesy conversation after 40 years. After 5 years, you couldn't be like, hey, so talking to my ex, come on, respect her. You may think that she's weird and crazy, but you married her. So if you thought she was that weird and crazy and you're not able to respect her, maybe you shouldn't be with her. I mean, come on, Richard. It's just you can't just lie to someone for that long and be like, we can't be talking about this. It's come on.
Richard really disappointed me in this episode. I'll just be honest.
Yeah.
He
After the
disappointed me.
first time, if it was just a spontaneous, we haven't seen each other and we've crossed paths, it's a rom-com and let's go to the restaurant in the process. After that first night, go to your wife and say, hey, I ran into this person. You don't wait 40 years. If Lorelai never made this come out, he probably would have never told her. Seriously. And
it's interesting because
insane.
It's interesting because, and this is just another example of how the show just does really brilliantly, just changes your feelings about characters almost on the just on a dime, is right before this was and this goes back to what you were asking, Zachary, about whether I like barbershop and a cappella. Not particularly. I mean, it's not like I, listen to it. I mean, if I hear some really great a cappella or some great barbershop, I'll be like, wow, that's really good. And that's sort of how I felt about the a cappella in that moment. But I was more loving that moment because I just loved how I actually got a little sad about Ed Herman. I just like that moment was just really beautiful. This man who just his whole just Yale, how much Yale meant to him and whatnot. So I was like really on the Richard train, in that moment. And then in the next, like not even a scene later, I'm like, wait, what? Oh no. And it's just really, I just think it's really cool. How the show does that narratively. It's just really, 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 really cool. I don't know who is next. Who is it? Steph.
Okay, yeah. So I definitely agree with Mary that it probably started very innocent. But I echo Lily's thoughts that he should have had a conversation with Emily, even after the first time or even before the first time, because you married her, you love Emily, you have a strong relationship. And so you should be able to have that conversation, no matter how you think or assume that Emily is going to react. And even before she found out, she obviously had some jealous feelings towards Penelon, because she thought that they still had, their relationship was more serious than it was, even though she won Richard. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting that even she still had jealous feelings towards Penelon, even before finding out about the lunch date.
Yeah, I mean that seems track though. I mean, this woman was his fiance right beforehand. I also, as much as I feel like it began innocently, the fact that it's been going on for as long as it has does have me questioning just a bit. One thing I will say though, we have 3 minutes before 8:45, which is the cutoff point for kernel harvesting. Just to let you all know, for those of you who RSVP'd to this event, you have 3 more minutes to harvest your kernels if you haven't already. I'm going to be jumping here really soon. Well, you have to have already RSVP'd. You have up until an hour before the event to RSVP for an event in the app. You can start RSVPing for future events, but you unfortunately, if you didn't RSVP for this event, you cannot collect your kernels because they weren't harvesting or they weren't growing.
Okay.
So they start growing once you RSVP, and then you can harvest them in the half hour from 15 minutes before the end of the event to 15 minutes after. And since our event officially ends at 8:30, that would be between 8:15 and 8:45. But you can RSVP for tomorrow's events, and then you can harvest for those. I'm going to start making folks moderators. I know there's so much that we have to talk about here, and not everyone has got a chance to speak. But just the
How do you RSVP?
John, can I just make one suggestion about the RSVPs?
Yeah, what's up?
Or just something to consider. Is it possible that once you've RSVP'd, it could maybe change color on your list so that without having to go into it, you can confirm that you did RSVP? Am I making sense?
The way that it should happen right now is when you RSVP, it should switch, and suddenly you should see a little timer and a little button that shows you that the kernels are growing.
Yeah, but you have to actually click into the event. So I mean, from the calendar page where you see them all listed.
Oh, yeah, that's a good suggestion. I'll put that. I'll put that on my list to put in. That could be really cool. Yeah.
Hey,
Thank you.
How do I get my kernels to conversation? You just send them.
Say that again.
You said you were gonna send me kernels earlier.
I already sent it. Sent it. You should have an extra 20 kernels. I sent.
Oh, I just checked. I don't see any.
I'll take a look to make sure. but
maybe close and reopen your app. And John, if you wanted to hear it, she was the next person. If you wanted to hear it, she had to say she hasn't really had a chance.
yeah,
But-
I'll take a look. Jessica, I'll take a look. It's possible that there's something wrong. I mean, we're just beginning this kernel thing, so I have to look and see how it went tonight, if there were any problems, if anybody didn't collect something, and I can see all of the everything I can see in the database. When I sent you those kernels, I saw them deduct from my account, which means that they're definitely gone from my account, and that means they're in your account. And I believe
I was curious because they're still not there, but that's okay. I was just wondering.
You're Jezi, right? Jezi, right?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. I'll take a look.
Funny
T,
how we can see the attendees that are RSVP too.
correct, we can. Now you can see not RSVP, you can see everyone who collected. So we start to see who actually was there, because you can see them as people who actually collected their kernels, meaning they were at the event. So that person was there. That can also help you discover other people. And that's also an easy way for you to find somebody who was at an event that you were at that you want to, potentially tip some kernels to.
So
I also sent a kernel. I sent some kernels to Diana as well. Did you get any kernels? You won't actually see any message. You actually have to know what your balance was and just notice that there was 20 more than there was before.
They might just have to close their app and reopen it, because sometimes
I've done that 3 times.
I think I should do
There's
that.
nothing.
All right, I'll take a look.
I'll try it too.
I would just like to say, John, I really enjoy you inebriated.
Was it really that obvious?
Yes, very much so.
I want to hear T talk.
Oh yes, please, T.
Speak the speech, I pray you, trippingly on the tongue.
So I wanted to say something kind of contrary to the opinions, of the group, that Richard, that it was like an innocent thing that had transpired over some time, and he was kind of like, oops, this accidentally happened, and now I'm in this web. Because he actually made a commitment with Penelon Law to have an annual meeting at the same time he got married. So he was actually kind of committing himself to both women when he got married to Emily. And we know that this was more like a preconceived thing that he was doing, because they were intentionally meeting at places where they would not be found, because he was saying, like, you don't know where I was going as far as like where the lunch was, and her husband doesn't know.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty damning.
I cannot believe it's already 8:45 and we didn't even mention the Paris and the freak.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that's for a reason. That is gonna I think that's going to grow. I mean, that was just like a big shocker, cliffhanger moment. But
John, how do you feel about it?
Ton to talk about yet. That's going to be big as we continue, for sure. And also,
but what about Froggy?
Oh yeah, Froggy. Oh my gosh,
Froggy.
Froggy's great. I'm
I hope you don't seriously think he could be a love interest, because that would be very, very sad.
No, I don't think so. But you know what? I will say that I feel like he's leaving. Like, I feel like this was his only episode, and I'm seriously bummed about that, because he is a very funny character.
You know, Lane dates him, right?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
Potato John.
Oh, he doesn't know, because in the same episode he gets beheaded, guys. He wasn't there.
Yeah, guys.
Okay.
That's the best episode.
I've had a lot of tequila, so I actually believed you there for a second. I was like, wait a second, I think I'm in this show at this point. How do I not remember that?
I'm sorry. Can I ask a question real quick?
Wait.
Real quick. Okay, so I am an avid Gilmore Girls. Like, that is my go-to. I have been watching it. I own all of the seasons on DVD. And
come on, Ella.
Like, I am an avid. I watch them as they came out. This is my show. Is there anyone here who has not seen it all the way through? I'm currently watching it.
The answer is
yes.
The answer is the guy who was in the show, me, who played Brian in the band, has never seen the whole show. That's what I'm doing right now.
And Jen,
Sweetie, you played Brian. I saw you look familiar. Oh my God, I can't believe I didn't recognize you. You played Brian. You were one of my favorites.
That's the whole concept of this. I'm watching the show with fans.
Wait, who just asked that?
Oh my God, that just totally like made my life. I was watching more. I'm currently on, not gonna lie, I am on season 3, episode 11, where Rory and Paris are fighting, and
Yo, Ella.
that this is like going on.
Ella, you got to get on remarkets.com and check out our event list.
Yeah, you gotta.
It'll blow your mind tomorrow.
We're on. Yeah, we're tomorrow. Just by the way, tomorrow and Sunday is our marathon weekend. We're doing 3 episodes in the morning on Saturday. We're doing 1 episode tomorrow night, and then we're doing 3 episodes on Sunday and another episode on Sunday night. And Todd Lowe, who played Zach, is going to be joining us for the 2nd episode tomorrow morning, which is season 4, episode 11. So it's going to be him and I, Zach and Brian, watching the show together. I don't know if he's seen the show. I have to ask him. And then Sunday, we think that Shelley Cole is going to be joining us. She played Madeline in the Chilton stuff. So she's going to be joining us for the spring break episode of season 4. So you should really join us if this is your thing.
Oh my God, I have so much to do this weekend, but I don't care about any of that now.
Come on, Ella. No, Ella,
come on.
I love you.
Welcome.
All right, guys, I'm gonna jump off.
Thank you.
I'm gonna jump off. This was an absolute blast. I of course have to thank T and the Bag Boy group for getting me drunk tonight. This was fun.
We have
Thank
to do
you.
it again more often for more episodes because this
Next week.
It's dangerous.
Next time,
Dangerous. It worked well tonight. I would say, but I don't know if that's something that we want to do every night. But I'm gonna be off. So tomorrow we're meeting tomorrow again. 8 a.m. is our first episode. Although I'm gonna try and open the room early because we've got the cat scratch memento, which is gonna be dropped tomorrow.
Clue.
Oh, right. Clue. Let's see here. Okay. So a cat has 9 lives, right? And in the same way that a cat has 9 lives, you'll know that your passphrase, if you've been, theorizing what it could be, your passphrase adds up if 9 is also what you get.
Oh man, math.
What?
What the hell?
What we did,
algorithm. I'm definitely going to have
the
math.
smart kid is testing us, and I
All
failed
right.
math.
All right, everybody. Tomorrow, I'm going to open it early. We're going to go through all of the different clues first, and people
I
can
have
look
them
at.
all written down,
They
by
can.
the way.
You can write down all of your. I'm sure
Please
folks
tell
have
me.
written down possibilities. If you've written down possibilities, write them down. Have a variety of possibilities.
Zoe.
Walk through all of the clues, and you can start to cross things off your list based on what we're talking about. And then I'm going to announce how you get the passphrase, and I'm going to drop it right after that.
Ooh,
And
that's like
those-
another clue.
Did you say the first episode tomorrow?
First episode tomorrow. And so, yeah, everyone will be racing for it. And those of you who have been preparing, those of you who have gotten sort of, some options, some possibilities of what it can be, will probably have a leg up. But again, it's all going to be speed. If you have 5 different possibilities and somebody else has 5 different possibilities, is it possible that they get the right one of their possibilities before you get to the right one of your possibilities? Who knows? There's only 10 of them. It's going to be fun, and it may break the app again, but we'll figure it out if it does.
Okay.
Someone
Thanks,
share with me the other clues. Thanks, John.
Thanks for this, everyone. This was a really fun episode.
Thank you.
John.
Same
I'll see you in
here.
the morning.
so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, John. Yep, this was fun.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. So are we
So
gonna?
you guys want
So Ella,
the other clues? You can go into the Remarkist app and on the past